Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies, and this is Just Lonely. From the All-Seeing Eye, Volume 1, Number 3, July 1923. Just Lonely. A few people realize the absolute loneliness which fills the heart of a large percent of children. The little ones who come into the world are indeed strangers in a strange land, and the vehicles which they are seeking to build have not yet the power and consciousness that come in later life, or should come. Indeed, in many cases, we go through life without ever breaking down the wall of loneliness. There is a great obligation confronting parents, for most of them forgot their own childhood and, interested in other things, absorbed in their own lives. They seem to be unaware of the soul agony which so often fills the heart of a child that is eternally seeking for love and perfection. While we hear the little one playing with the children, it seems to be happy, and yet often with the laughter and the smile, the discerning eye sees a pathetic little look that tells of a lonely soul. As the years go by, there is often built around the child a wall which not even the parent can pierce. For in many homes, the parents know less about their children than the stranger on the street. For the comradeship, the understanding, the mutual love is lost, because the lonely child has forgotten how to make a confidant of them. This generation is producing millions of lonely little souls to whom home means nothing but a shelter for the body, because self-centered and thoughtless parents have come to believe that because the child is young, it does not feel. How many lives are broken? How many romances fall to pieces? Because the child has been so lonely that it sought just someone to talk to, someone to make a confidant of, when at home a stone wall seems built around it. A large number of children, instead of loving and confiding in their parents, either despise them or merely treat them with respect and regard in accordance with social obligations. And in the majority of cases, it is because the parent has failed to plant the seeds of love and trust in the heart of the child. The condition is becoming more acute every day, for the world is filled with young people who are divided from the bonds of home by lack of mutual understanding. This is often the result of the fact that during the years of childhood and youth, when things were needed, the parents were not there. When there was work to do that the child might be what it should be, they shirked their duties and the child lost confidence. There's nothing sadder in all the world than to find a little child who has lost confidence in its parents. And yet, at the present time, there are few homes where a child can have real confidence, for a sweet temperament cannot be raised on forgetfulness, and the average child feels that it is in the way at home. So it goes out, and one of two things is the result. Either its little heart is chilled forever, and it becomes self-centered, secretive, and often dishonest, or in its hunger for love, it suffers all its life. At this day and age of the world, there are no more unhappy creatures in all the universe than children. Instead of being welcomed and their years of youth watched and guided, they are regarded from the very beginning as a nuisance and as something which stands between the parents and the gay pleasures of life. So slowly the child drifts into other company, mentally if not physically, and oftentimes it picks very poor associates, not because of criminal instinct or of malicious intent, but it went astray just because it was lonely. This condition faces us as a problem far greater than we generally understand. Many youths go into the business world or leave home because there was no companionship there for them. Many young girls have married at immature ages to escape the loneliness of home and to find someone whom they thought would be a friend. Too often, this choice is unwise, but in nearly every case, it is the result of the fact that there is no love and companionship and brotherhood in the home. The answer to this problem is the father and mother should not be the boss of the child. Children are not servants or slaves, and when treated as such and ordered around like puppets, they either sulk away determined someday to make a break, or else their spirits are crushed and they become useless chips of driftwood on the sea of life. No one likes a boss, children no more than the rest, and children who fear parents will never love them. Brotherhood must be born in the home where parents and children are tied together by the bond of mutual sympathy and understanding. Kindly and wisely like brothers, parents must love and labor with their children, for many a little one has gone away to weep alone when a scar has been made in the soul that will last to the end of time over the thoughtless cruelty of the parent or an unjust accusation. It is harshness and fear which will make dishonest children and promote lying, stealing, and even worse habits. It is the lack of the feeling of brotherhood between parent and child that makes young children keep secrets which may injure them all their lives. Whereas if confidence has been built, the wiser and more mature thoughts of the parent will save years of suffering. But the privilege of the parent to help the child is lost when that privilege is abused. So we find thousands of children who are just lonely, who while they are properly fed and clothed are merely strangers boarding at home. This condition is the basis of a generation of lonely souls, broken and misunderstood, who crawl away in melancholy, or else sell their souls for the sake of a kind word. There are few who realize the power that a parent has, and there are still fewer who realize how that power is abused today. When there is coming into the world a generation of lonely children, great souls who will never be understood and always blamed for the lack of those very virtues which the parents should have stimulated. As you read this article, there are many of you who will recognize how your own lives have been twisted and changed by loneliness in childhood, and the fact you never were understood. And this should be a divine incentive within the soul of every parent that when young hearts come to them, they shall be understood and not be just little strangers in a strange land, lonely and forgotten. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.